My name's Nickita. I'm the founder of When Push Comes to Shove. I'm also the co-founder of Artemis Birth Attendant Academy. I'm a natural birth practitioner, author, activist, singer-songwriter and mother. My career in birth started 14 years ago. Well, my journey into birth started 14 years ago when I had my first baby. I was 21, young, dumb, and I had no clue about the maternity system. I thought they had my best interests at heart. I assumed they wouldn't tell me something that wasn't true. Although I did want to have a home birth, I wasn't strong enough to fight with my partner at the time because he didn't want me to. And I think, like a lot of women, I just assumed I couldn't argue with them. I think a lot of women almost assume that these maternity guidelines they're told about is law, when that's really ridiculous. But anyway, I fell for it. I had a very, very traumatic birth. I had the standard, oh, you're overdue, we've got to induce you. And because someone wearing scrubs told me to, I said yes. There was no way I had any informed consent. They didn't tell me the risks of induction. They didn't tell me how long it could take. I knew nothing. And what a shock that was. I was surprised. I was very surprised. If I had woken up tomorrow morning with my face sewn to the carpet, I couldn't be more surprised. I thought I was going to be in and out in a few hours. Nope. I went in on the Friday. I didn't come out till the Wednesday. So awful long labour. You know the drill. Very, very painful contractions because of the induction. I asked for an epidural. In this case, the epidural didn't work because I broke my back in 2007. There was too much scar tissue. It didn't work properly. And anyway, it slowed the labour down. So they upped the induction drug and well, you can guess what happened. It was just a cascade of intervention. I ended up having an instrumental delivery and a horrific amount of stitches due to an episiotomy. The room looked like a shark attack. It was vile. Traumatised is an understatement. And I had severe postnatal, not depression, I was just traumatised. And I thought, this is not normal. I thought about my grandmother, and she'd had 7 children. And I thought, how did she do this more than once? This is the worst thing in the world. And I spoke to her, and she said, well, it seems what you've experienced is just common. It doesn't mean it's normal. And wow, that got me thinking. So I started to do research, and I started my journey in midwifery. And it ended very quickly. I mean, bullets have left guns slower. I hate it. So I started another journey into becoming a doula. That was cool. It was a lot better than midwifery. I thought, good, birth is not a medical procedure. After quite a lot of hefty research, it's a natural process that occasionally needs medical intervention. But even still, I found the group of women quite cliquey, and I didn't feel like I belonged there. I felt like an outsider, as I always have, to be honest. Since I was a kid, I've always had a feeling inside me that I don't belong. Luckily, I'll forward the story a bit. I now do. Anyway, let's fast forward a few more years, shall we? So I did a lot of research. I ended up working with some wonderful independent midwives. I met some very traditional midwives in other countries who taught me a lot. Stuff you would never learn in a traditional setting in this country. and I felt very privileged to link up with these women over the years. I wanted another baby, and between 2008, when I had my first, and 2020, during the pandemic, I lost 9 babies. Never found out why I lost so many. I think it has something to do with me being rhesus negative, and maybe the babies I lost were not. Who knows? Just a theory and just a feeling. Can't prove it. But don't feel bad for me, because the souls that were meant to come through have come through. And my second baby changed my life once more. So I was sick of the over medicalization of birth. And you know what? Before the pandemic, I mean, things were shit. They were shit. And the pandemic just made it worse. This is not a new problem. This has been going back for years. I became good friends a few years ago with my mentor, my amazing friend, and my daughter's godmother, Beverly Beach, the author of Am I Allowed? She's taught me so much, and I've always aspired to be as courageous as Beverly. There's so much I could say about Beverly. That's probably room for another episode on that one, so I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, Beverly had been inspiring me, and I met a lovely group of independent midwives. And when I was pregnant with my second, I knew I'd have a good birth. I'd attended beautiful birth after beautiful birth. And I was I don't know, I was lucky, or the women that came to me just knew what they wanted and trusted their body. But my C-section rate over the years was ridiculously low. So I came to the belief that, well, women's bodies won't fail them, but their environment can, and their care providers can. So I thought, I trust my body. I know I can do this. I had no doubt in my mind. But I didn't trust the system. And Kelsa Breeze, throughout my pregnancy, I was being told, oh, you're going to have a postpartum hemorrhage. You're going to have a shoulder dystocia, all that nonsense. Which I replied to their nonsense with a very well written letter with the help of Beverly. They didn't like that. But I got what I wanted. I had my home birth. It was a very quick 3-hour home birth. But after the birth of my second, I thought, well, other women may not have the confidence to do this, may not have the understanding that they have rights. So I need to do something. I need to do something big. Also, during that time, independent midwives lost their insurance to practice intrapartum care. And I thought, oh, this story is much bigger than they're letting on. This is a modern day witch hunt. This is Big Brother not being able to keep an eye on the independent midwives. And I didn't like it. So I made it my mission right at the beginning of this particular journey to get insurance back for independent midwives. I'm also a singer-songwriter, so I thought I would release a song. It's called Breathe Again, and the video is beautiful. It's got lots of mums in their natural environment having babies. There's a midwife singing along to the chorus, and we got a big PR campaign together. And unfortunately, the media didn't give a shit. It was all about COVID. It was all about the royal family at the time. Didn't get a look in. So I thought, oh, okay, I need to find something else to do. And that's when I started to discover Telegram. And I built my business when push comes to shove. It was initially to raise money for independent midwives, but the journey took an unexpected turn. I was meeting so many midwives that were so disillusioned by the system. They wanted to be independent, work independently, but they just didn't have the insurance. So they were voluntarily coming off the register so they could practice autonomously as a birth keeper. And my business, my organisation just began to grow in a different way. And before I knew it, I've seemed to develop a quite fast pace growing alternative maternity structure, and we've now got 100 birth practitioners or natural birth keepers in 6 different countries. Managed to raise money for an access fund so low-income families can get this sort of awesome care for free. And during the time where the mandates were looking like they were going to come in, I created a course called the Midwife Lifeboat, just to offer midwives working within the system a lifeline. They could come and work with us. Just losing your PIN, losing your registration does not mean that you're no longer a midwife. You're always with women. You did the training, you put your time in, but they can never take that training away from you, and you can now practice how you've always wanted. After all, birth, for the most part, it's physiological, and there needs to be an understanding of this is natural, there's not a hands-on situation here, and there's no clinical practice. So my movement started to grow, and I started to speak to a few people. I got in contact with Tess Laurie from the World Council for Health, and before I knew it, I was speaking at the Better Way conference in Bath. Wow, that blew me away. I'm used to doctors hating me, speaking, calling me hippie and whatnot. But wow, I was so nervous that day, very, very nervous. I was speaking on the stage with some amazing people like Del Bigtree, Majid Nawaz, Brett Weinstein, just to name a few, and Neil Oliver. And I thought, wow, this is like a dream. And I got a standing ovation from a room full of people that I never thought in a million years would listen to me. And it's just gone on from there. And when I was working, teaching on the Midwife Lifeboat, I came across my beautiful, beautiful friend Angela, who is the co-founder of Artemis. So here we are in 2022, and we want to really make a dent in how birth is seen, how midwifery is practiced, and we're just here to say, women of Earth, please take back your birth, because peace on earth always begins at birth, I think. If we treat women with dignity, and in fact, if birth workers just walk into the birth room just as another woman, not as someone in authority or wearing scrubs or better than them or an empire builder or anything like that, they're just woman to woman, I think there's just a bloody good start. And I think if we focus on changing how babies come into the world, coming in with love and peace instead of coercion and fear and bullying and adrenaline, just imagine the vibrations that would change at the very beginning of life. Then women wouldn't acquiesce to all the other crap that they're told they have to do. I think the world could do with a change, and this is how we birth the new earth. I've been so fortunate to meet the most incredible and outstanding midwives that I would never have met otherwise after this pandemic. It's been a blessing. I have a wonderful friend who is a midwife to the Amish. She's taught me so much that I never would have found out otherwise, and I'm lucky enough to be able to pass on that wisdom to others now with the courses I teach. And maybe you might If you're watching this, you might be on the Artemis course and learn it yourself. I mean, this information is gold, the stuff I've learned. And you could spend a lifetime researching and never get it all in one place. When we are able to shift consciousness into that of love instead of fear, when children are born in love, we will start to see toddlers, younger children, teenagers later on in life that actually remember who they are. They will remember their true nature because their mothers were strong enough to trust in their bodies, trust in their babies, and remember who they are. I always say when I look a birthing goddess in the eyes, remember who you are. And what I mean by that is remember your true nature. You came into this world with all the knowledge you needed, all the wisdom. And remember, wisdom is within. Knowledge and intellect is what we know. Wisdom, we're brought into the world with it. And I think we would do quite well to get out of our heads to access that. When you're in labour, you should be the epitome of a human being, not a human doing or becoming or whatever you want to call it. Because when you just are, and in the present moment, you can access that true wisdom. And to this day, I have never come across a mother who is wrong about her instinct. I've seen mums in their heads and panicking, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when women really tune in with their higher self and their true nature, they know and they can connect with their babies. Call it hippie mumbo jumbo, call it what you want. But I know what I've seen and I know what I've felt. And if you are that way inclined during birth, your baby is born into peace, you're setting a good precedent. Once you realise that it's not really the individuals within the system that are the problem, they're usually well-meaning women or men, but it's the system that's the beast. But just know this: inside every intimidating and confrontational adult is a scared child. So when you are ready to take back your power and you don't want to hand over your birth and you want to make an informed decision and you think, hang on, I don't need anyone telling me what to do, you will no longer fear the system. You will no longer fear the midwife or the consultant that is looking at you with a death stare like you are some tinfoil hat wearing maniac. You will no longer see them as a threat. You will have inner peace and you're not judging yourself, you're not judging them, you're just doing what's right for you. You'll no longer find them a threat. It'll be like Joe Pasquale coming at you. It won't be remotely intimidating. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to ignore medical advice. That is not what I'm about at all. I think a few people have got that wrong. I'm not actually interested in telling anyone how or where to give birth. All I'm interested in is women having an empowered experience, informed decisions. So listen to doctors, listen to midwives, listen to doulas, listen to your mum, listen to your aunt. But what do you want to do? What research have you done? Have you taken the time to research your options? So I'm just here to say, empower yourself. Make sure you feel comfortable. Make your decisions out of love and not fear. So come on, Mama Bears. Come on, you goddesses. Are you going to take any more crap? Or are you going to take back your birth?